the Great Oyster Race. It started on a humid July afternoon. The chores were done, or at least done enough to satisfy John, who was busy mending a stone wall near the barn. "Last one to the Narrows is a slow-bellied toad," Joshua shouted, already halfway across the meadow. Samuel dropped his hoe and gave chase, his longer legs eating up the distance. The girls, not wanting to be left behind in the stifling heat of the kitchen, hitched up their wool skirts and ran after them, their bare feet thumping against the packed earth. They reached the brackish edge of the Pettiquamscut River, breathless and laughing. The game was simple oyster skipping. Joshua found a perfectly flat, sun-bleached shell. With a flick of his wrist, it danced across the glass-like surface, 1, 2, 3, 4, before sinking. "Top that, Sam." Samuel didn't answer. He was steady, focused. He found a heavier shell, one with a slight curve. He threw it with a low, powerful arc. It skipped 6 times, the ripples spreading out toward the far bank. "Cheater!" Joshua laughed, giving his older brother a playful shove that nearly sent Samuel into the mud. But the laughter didn't always last. That evening, as the humidity broke into a cracking Rhode Island thunderstorm, the 4 of them were huddled in the sleeping loft. The space was cramped, smelling of dried salt and cedar. "Move your feet, Josh," Samuel grumbled. "You're taking the whole pallet." "I'm barely touching you," Joshua snapped back, his voice edgy with the restlessness that seemed to define him. "Maybe if you weren't as wide as a barn door, we'd both fit." A sharp thwack of a hand hitting a pillow followed. Tabitha sighed from her corner. "If Father hears you too, he'll have you both out in the rain-hauling wood. Be still." A heavy silence followed, broken only by the rhythmic drumming of rain on the roof. In the darkness, the brothers eventually settled, their shared heat a necessity against the damp night. Even in their bickering, there was a gravity, a knowledge that they were the only 4 people in the world who truly understood what it was to be a teft on this wild frontier. Mother could sometimes get them to play the silent game. As the storm settled into a steady drizzle, Mary whispered into the dark, "I spy something gray." "The stone chimney," Samuel muttered sleepily. "No." "The fog on the window?" Tabitha guessed. "No." "The oysters in the bucket downstairs," Joshua whispered, his voice finally losing its bite. "Yes," Mary said, satisfied. They fell asleep to the sound of the wind, for lives woven together by blood, salt, and the sturdy stone walls John had built for them. They fought like any siblings would, but when the sun rose over the Pettiquamscut the next morning, they would be back in the fields, working as one, because the land demanded nothing less. Mary filled her journal with her loving stories.
In the great room of the stone ender, where the field stones held the fires tender, for young Tefts, a hardy crew, found that to survive, their friendship grew. Through the long winters, close and tight, sharing a pallet through the dampest night, Samuel, with his older, steady hand, taught Joshua how to read the newly cleared land, how to set the post and mend the wall, to answer together their father's call. But Joshua, with that rebellious streak, often tested Samuel, just for fun, so to speak. A playful shove by the Pettiquamscut's side, a race to the Narrows where the oysters hide. Then Tabitha, the quiet one by the hearth, would pull the brothers back to the earth, tying the knot that held the loop, to keep them all a united group. By the firelight, when the day was done, the friction and games were equally won. They fought, and they competitive ran, but also worked together as one solid plan. The bond was as sturdy as the chimney they knew, in the wilderness where the Teft family grew.